Welcome to yet another episode of Shortcast Over Coffee. My guest today is Aswathi Thirunal Rama Varma. Varmaji, as his students love to call him, has gained worldwide recognition for his mastery of classical singing and veena skills. He has given performances at many prestigious events around the world. The clarity of his tones and precise articulation of lyrics are striking features of his singing. Additionally, he is renowned for narrating intriguing backstories, anecdotes, and elucidating verses of ragas and compositions during his shows. Without further ado, let's get into the conversation. Welcome, Varmaji, to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, where are you based now?
Right now, I'm in Bangalore, where
Okay.
I have been most of the time from 2020, from the time the pandemic came. So till then, I was not in any place fixed. So after the pandemic started, I've been mostly in Bangalore.
Okay. I mean, everybody knows that you're part of the royal family of Travancore. And, you know, one of the things that amazes me is I don't know of any other family, a royal family, that is associated so deeply with music, where, you know, the prince or the king himself was a poet um, and contributed immensely to classical music. So I want to start this podcast with Swathi Thirunal himself. What are some of the things that you've heard of Swathi Thirunal that we don't know? We have read books, but directly coming from the family, what has been some of his? I mean, we know his contributions. What has been some of his maybe idiosyncrasies or little known facts about Swathi Thirunal?
That, see, we forget that he lived 250 years before me. So it's not like my grandfather or uncle or someone I know. So, and 250 years is not that long a time if there is a continuous tradition of people who were into the subject. But unfortunately, after Swathi Thirunal's time, there was a dark period when people were not interested in music, which is why his compositions also got scattered and nothing was really systematically organized or preserved. Then Amma Maharani came in the 20th century by 1920s. Sethu Parvati Bai, who was the mother of Chitra Thirunal, the last Maharaja. She was completely dedicated to music. I mean, she had food and music. There are some subjects she was totally passionate about. So she was the one who invited Muttaya Bhagavatar and much later Syamangudi, then Mushiri, my guru, K.S. Narayanaswamy. There are many people who assisted in the Swathi Thirunal project of collecting notations and whatever, and tuning, set to tune where only lyrics were available. But Amma Maharani was born sometime late 19th century and she passed away in 1987. So 82, 83 only I was studying. Not 87, sorry. She was 87 years old, but she died in 1983. So 82 only I started with my guru, Vechur Harir Subramanian sir. So I was only 12, 13 years old. So my great-grandmother was very affectionate with me, but the equation was like a great-grandmother is affectionate to a very small child. So we never discussed music or anything. And others were not interested. So because of that, so much, this one lady would have been a very good source to get something at least, but I lost out on that. So mostly I got from my guru, K.S. Narayanaswamy sir, and people about legends he knew. By K.S. Narayanaswamy sir, Veena, he worked in Annamalai University with M.D. Ramanathan's guru, Tiger Varadacharya, and Mushiri Subramaniar's guru, Sabhesh Iyer, and Ponnaya Pillai. So these are, so about them he would tell me stories. So like that we can hear stories directly. But Maharaja Swathi Thirunal, because he did not have a Shishya Parampara and because he was 250 years before our time, so much is lost. There are some records, I presume, but which nobody has bothered to look into. Now, this is not about Swathi Thirunal, but one very, very, very happy thing which happened is that Ailyam Thirunal Maharaja. So Chitra Thirunal was the last Maharaja. Before that, there was Regent Sethu Lakshmi Bai for a few years. She waited till he became 16 years old. Before that, Sri Moolam Thirunal. And before that was Ailyam Thirunal. So Visakham Thirunal. Before Visakham was Ailyam Thirunal. So Ailyam Thirunal, among many, many things he did, the most famous thing is that he spotted Raja Ravi Varma when he was a child. and this boy has something special. So he used to paint with homemade colors, which he used to make from leaves and flowers and stuff like so. Oil painting. Ayilan Thirunal Maharaja introduced Raja Varma too, and the rest is, of course, history. But one lesser known thing about Ayilan Thirunal is that he was an accomplished Carnatic musician himself. He used to sing himself. And there was a gentleman who worked in Annamalai University, probably with my Guru K.S. Swami, but I discovered him very recently. His name is Gomati Shankara Iyer. You can Google him and see. So this Gomati Shankara Iyer, he worked with the Tigers, same story. He has written several books in Tamil and in English. And recently, his son contacted me. That gentleman is a senior citizen in his 80s. So he says most of his father's books are out of print. So one book he is bringing out again. And I don't know from where he found me, maybe like you from YouTube or something. So he wanted me to write an introduction to the book. So I said, if it is in English, then more people can appreciate it. It'll go outside Tamil Nadu also. But one entire segment of this book is a live account of what was happening in Ayilam Thirunal Maharaja's court, where this musician sang Purna Chandrika for 45 minutes. Then Ayilan Thirunal Maharaja himself, he made a Pallavi. He sang Trikalam. This man played like this. So like a diary entry in Ayilan Thirunal Maharaja's court with Maharaja himself singing who all sang what. That elaborate description of that scene is there in this book, which I had the privilege to write a foreword to, and it is going to come out, I don't know, maybe very soon. But it will be in Tamil. So I have requested, please translate it in English also. So like that, but Ayilan Thirunal, after that Visakha Thirunal, we don't know what his situation is. I've heard that he has presented a paper on Hindustani music and Carnatic music in Pune, some big festival and all that. Visakha Thirunal. Chitra Thirunal, definitely, I knew him very, very well. He was not, he or his sister, brother, Uttradam Thirunal, Kartika Thirunal, they were not much into music, though they were all children of Amma Maharani. So that is probably because she had a very dominant, forceful personality. So I love chocolate, but somebody pushes chocolate in my mouth, then I won't like it, no? So she kind of shoved it down the throats of her children and grandchildren also, with the obvious response from them. But so I also wish, see, preservation, if you look at Johann Sebastian Bach or Beethoven or Mozart, their letters are still there. The original letters are there. They're brought out in the form of books. We can read them. But about these people, we not only Swathi Tyagaraja Dikshit, some stories come down, but there is no authentic record. No.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that comes up every time when I talk to someone in the field of music. I did an episode with Krish Ashok, who's a musician and also like I can just call him a food scientist, I guess, at this point. But what he said was, the difference between Western music and Carnatic music is that there is no proper documentation.
Exactly.
There is documentation for Vedas, I think, but for some reason there is no documentation for Carnatic music, and it still remains quite a miracle how so much information has transcended generations.
Absolutely.
Transcended generations with I'm sure some have been lost in translation, and there have been errors in lyrics that have come through generations, but it still somehow remains a miracle. And what I would like to know is, there is so much spoken about Aswathi Thirunal, but there is not much spoken about some of the prominent names from those times, like an Iraiman Dambi or a Shatkal Govindamarar. Do you have any recounts of stories that you might have heard through your gurus?
No, not really, because they were all from the same time.
Yeah.
So I would have more stories about Tiger Vardacharya because my guru actually worked with him.
Okay.
So because these people were also from 250 years ago.
Right.
So it is very sad. Even contemporary people, you look at G.N. Balasubramanian, everyone knows GNB. He died in 1968. Chemmangudi was there almost until the millennium. And GNB had like 10 or 12 children. Chemmangudi had 8 or 9 children. My guru, Balamuralikrishna, he passed away in 2016. and he had 6 children, 3 male and 3 female. But how much the descendants are doing to preserve their legacy, only they know. No?
Yeah.
So that is a very sad. My situation, I don't bracket myself with a Tiger or GNB or Aswathi Thirunal anyway, but something I'm doing of some value which made me send you an email and chat to me now. No, so
Yeah.
some value. But tomorrow, if I die, now it is what, September. In November, you go to my house, you will not find one sign that a person like this even existed. That is the situation. So I'm not surprised why with other people also same situation, because this is, I'm talking about present only. So many musicians, K.S. Narayanaswamy, for example, he had this amazing collection of beautiful instruments made by Ramji. So there are these like Stradivarius in violin making. In Veena making, there are these legendary names. So Ramji made Veena. So what happened to those instruments? Who is playing them? Whether they are used for termites or firewood, we have no idea. So it's very, very, very sad.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. You think you bring up veena and the violin. Uh, I learned Carnatic music for a while, and one of the difficulties that I noted, and it could be really personal, is that the the concept of notation or the understanding of notations in my head is quite different from how the concept is with an instrumentalist. If I learned the veena or the violin and someone sang a song, I could probably get the notations, very fast. But with singing, or it could be something to do with my training or me as a person, I mostly focus on the bhava of the raga and how it feels, and I somehow tend to reproduce what sounds good in my head. Uh, so my question to you is, if someone is a student of music, is it important for them, or is it better if they learned an instrument on the side?
Oh, 200%. Because I know, because I only learned vocal music to start with. So after learning vocal music for 5 years or something, so I was singing at a certain level. If I sang Shankarabharana, people would say it was Shankarabharana. So they wouldn't say it is Kalyani, and I could identify swarams also. But when I started learning Veena, it is like somebody who had a cataract operation. So some dull film was covering the eyes, and that is suddenly removed. And oh my God, now so a simple thing like Shankarabharanam, so we sing Danisa in Shankara. Danisa. This is how Danisa we sing, but actually the notes are Danisa are the notes. So what is happening when we say the? So the starting point is pa, the, so pa sa da sa ni sa ni sa. So pasada da sa ni sa da ni sa. But without I'm not sitting, and I slowed it down just to illustrate a point. But I'm not sitting and analyzing. When you hear that, you see that also. So which is why many times when I teach music, I tend to use my hands. And then the student, even if they don't know an instrument, seeing the patterns I make with my hand, it becomes more vivid, imprinted in their mind. So 100% knowing an instrument, if you know even keyboard, the pure notes will be in their place in your mind. But for Carnatic music specifically, since we have such particular gamakams which are peculiar to Carnatic music, which we don't have in any other system, not even in Hindustani music. So that kind of, suppose we sing Anand Bhari, Sagari Gama. So Sagari Gama. So Sagari Ga. So Gari. So what is happening? Sappamamagamari. So gari, gari. So when I do that, automatically my hand will go like that because I'm playing veena in my head. So that fine, small, or pantuvarali, pa ma ga ma ga re sa ma pa so pa pa da ma pa da ma ga re sa ni varali. So that ma is very, 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 very little different from Paturali Ma. That's, most people may not even be able to hear, even after we tell them that there's a slight difference, because it's closer to the Pa, just hanging off from the Pa, the Varali Ma. So that becomes very, very easy if you know particularly Veena above any other instrument, because Veena has frets, and so you have the frets with Shuddha Swaram and the pulling for the Gamakams. While violin, I love violin. Actually, my heart is in violin only because I didn't have a potential violin guru in Thiruvananthapuram at that time. And I had a very good veena player visiting my house, Veena Venkatraman sir, who was teaching my father. So because of his personality, I started learning veena. But even now, when somebody is playing violin with me for my concert, I'm into what he's playing because I love that instrument, Western violin also. But Western violin, once you reach a certain level, then of course you are good in Nadusaram or Veena or violin or any instrument. But at a basic level, as a subsidiary thing for singing Carnatic music, definitely there's nothing like the Veena.
Yeah. I was talking to one of the upcoming violinists, Kamalakiran Vinjamuri. He's
Yeah.
based out of the US.
I know.
And I was asking him how difficult it is to start liking what you play in the violin. Like the learning curve is just so steep
Yeah.
that maybe starting off with something like a veena, which has frets, is maybe a good starting point than jumping onto something like a violin. But yeah, I mean, to your point, violin is the most amazing instrument, and it's fascinating how a Western instrument just gelled so beautifully well into Carnatic music, and
And in that, Aswathi Thirunal had a very, very big hand because it was Dikshitar's brother, Muthuswami Dikshitar's brother, Baluswami Dikshitar, who first on record played Western violin in Carnatic music. And from him, the member of the Tanjavur quartet, Vadivelu, he learnt violin. And when Tanjore quartet came to Maharaja Aswathi Thirunal's court, Aswathi Thirunal was fascinated by this instrument. And he encouraged the violin so much. So he had a very big hand. I mean, now we say, oh, fusion is not pure or whatever, but if the fact that violin is playing Carnatic itself is already a blend of.
Yeah, this is a little known fact about Aswathi Thirunal. I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah. I mean, Aswathi Thirunal is quite amazing. I mean, he had expertise in so many different languages. The fact that he composed in so many different languages is just a miracle. That too at such a young age. Yeah. To the point of you talking about the nuances of notes that instrumentalists catch way better than a singer, and you were talking about your personal experience as well. I think that's probably one of the reasons why people who have an expertise in one instrument become better composers, or at least with the kind of composers that you see, they are probably good with the keyboard or with something, because they understand that so much better than a singer. Maybe Karthik, the singer, is a composer. I don't know if he's good with any instrument, but other than that, I don't really remember any other person who has become a composer while being a proper singer.
Yeah. You mentioned Kamalakiran for it, so that's why I'm mentioning his name. Suppose Kamalakiran is accompanying 10 singers for 10 different concerts, and 6 of them don't know an instrument, and 4 of them do know a violin or veena. Within 2 minutes, he would be able to identify, oh, this guy knows an instrument, or this guy doesn't know an instrument. It is that obvious for a person who knows an instrument that the other person is singing well, but that particular grip which comes only from knowing an instrument, that is not there. And when they sing swarams and all that, sometimes they'll be saying something and singing something else. That also happens.
Yeah, that is really, it confuses me as well. Like, am I singing a pa or a ma, and am I calling it something different? Yeah, it's quite amazing. I want to take you back to your days with Dr. M. Balamuralikrishna. First of all, how did you start being his disciple? What was the initial process like?
Yeah, that is very interesting because I come from which family, and their sun and the moon were M.S. Subbulakshmi and Chemmangudi, or Chemmangudi and M.S. Subbulakshmi, nobody else. So KVN was the next, number 3. But I was addicted to M.D. Ramanathan from the time I was a child. And Amma Maharani liked M.D. Ramanathan a lot.
Okay,
but
to that point, I want to interrupt you for a bit.
Yeah, no.
M.D. Ramanathan, that man fascinates me because, when you listen to him for the first time, it's not the most, it's not a voice that you will associate with a singer, right? I mean, but his expertise, and one thing that has struck is that his fans are so loyal. Like my dad is a huge MD Ramanathan fan, and the fan base that he has is beyond anybody else, and the fans are super loyal. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to bring that as well. But yeah, continue.
Including me.
Including you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that itself, there were people who used to laugh at me and make fun of me because I was only 6 years old, 7 years old. So whose music do you like? I like MD Ramana. MD Ramana. So I didn't have an answer to say why I liked him at age 6 or even 12 or 15. I said, this is what I like. That's all. So I had to face a lot of ridicule from certain people who found his music not attractive. But I feel very happy that though I was never this aggressive type of person, I was very mild and almost feminine as a kid. So at that time also, in my own quiet way, I would still stick up and say, I like MD Ramadhan. I mean, even if you laugh at me. So that was one background. Then Balamurali, because he was not welcome at all in my circles. I had not even heard of his name at that time. So it's not like I heard him and didn't like him. I didn't even hear. So my exposure was almost 100% restricted to the people who would come to Navaratri Mandapam regularly. So from Alatur Srinivasaya to Chammangudi to KVN to MD Ramanathan to DK Jaraman, Sheshagopalan, Maharadhavara Santana, then MK Kalyan Sabhagadar, Neyathing Ravasidevan. Then M.A. Kalyan Sabhagadar, I've not heard, he had passed away by then. So these set of people again and again, I was a Pudukode Krishnamurthy. There are some people like Pudukode I love a lot, but many others like M.S. Gopalakrishnan, who's my favorite violin, I had never heard of him at that time. So because he had not come to Navaratri Mandapam during my time, he had come before that. But later when I heard M.S. Gopalakrishnan, I was like, what is this? I mean, this man, what he's doing with this instrument is something which I could not even imagine. So that style many people follow, but MSG just one sa if he holds, it's like honey falling. So like that, Balamuralikrishna, Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagavatar, Madurai Mani Iyer, I had never heard these people at all because of their being out of that circle. So then Balamurali sir had come to Surya festival and I heard him, and it was a very jill kind of concert, and it was not like anything I had heard until then. So I must have been in my mid-teens or something. And I could not get it out of my head. It's like, what is it? He sang Shobhila Saptasara and sang Manodharma Sura at Saptasara. So the next day, this Saptaswara, that was just going, and I had never heard that song before. So I kept telling Vachur, sir, there's one song, it is like Sagama Panisa, Sanipama Garisa, but Saptaswara, Shobhila Saptasara. Oh, Shobhila Saptasara. Then I started going through my collection of tapes and I found GNB singing Shobhila Saptasara. So in GNB tempo, GNB style, which was how normally all of us sing. While Balamurali says he didn't change the patam or anything, but one kind of refinement with the sahityam and polish and whatever. So it was then I heard his music here and there, little by little, some tillanas. So I was stunned by his tillana, like completely blown away, not only by the singing, but by the compositions, which remains my story even now, 30 years later. So I was like, it is not like any Tillana I had heard before. I had heard Dhanasri Tillana by Aswathi Thirunal, which is set up by Lalgudi Jayaraman, actually, completely. Yeah. So this was like very easy in one way, but so bright and attractive and just stunning. So I would listen to his Tillana CD many, many times. Then I learned one Tillana by myself, his Bihag Tillana, which starts after one beat. So that is a little difficult. I couldn't even figure out for longest time that it started after one beat. So Anupallavi is on Samam. So I sing Anupallavi is all correct. Then Pallavi, something goes wrong. So I couldn't understand how it's going off just a little bit. So once I figured out that it started after one beat, then that was cleared up. But I learned that by myself. It went on like that. I heard Purandaradasa compositions. Again, Purandaradasa means KVN singing Jagadotharana is very nice. Somebody Govinda Rao singing Venkatachala Nilayam is very nice. That was my exposure to Purandaradasa finish. So when Balamurali sir sang Krishnayana Bharade or Hodi Nagari Melekaya, there's so many Purandaradasa, it was like, oh my God, something is there in this. And same with Annamacharya, same with Bhadrasal Ramadas. So slowly, I started hearing these little bits of him and getting fascinated by some of it, not all of it. because it was very hard to get used to something so different from anything I had heard before. Even M.D. Ramanathan is different in his own way. Musiri is different also. That way, Madurai Chambai, each one is different. But this was like different, more different than different, from all these people. So after Vechur sir passed away, I went to Madras because I felt I needed a change than just be in Trivandrum in that setup. So I wanted to live a life independently and try and make something of myself, not using the family platform. So I went to Madras and I had 2 or 3 very bad experiences with potential gurus. So I was waiting for the man to come. Then I thought, oh, while I'm waiting for my guru to come, let me just try Balamurali sir and try and learn a Tilana from him directly. It'll be thrilling to learn a composition directly from the composer. That was a big thrill for me. Like that, I met him for his concert. He had given a concert. Then I said, I'd like to meet you. So why? I'd like to talk to you. You can talk to me now. I said, no, I'd like to talk to you 5 minutes
I
alone.
want to pause you for a second, and
Yeah.
I know that you mimic Dr. M. Balamuralikrishna really, really well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've done it to him, his face actually.
Oh.
So yeah. So he said, ma'am, you can talk to me now. So I said, no, I said, I want to meet you. So just 5 minutes, and tomorrow morning, 9:30, okay. So I went to I found his house by 7:30 actually. I didn't want to be late, and I'm given only 5 minutes. As you would have seen at 8:30 today, I'm kind of punctual usually. So I found his house and just sat on the wall of another house till 9:30, sharp 9:30 I walked in. Then I said, so what is it? So I said, he had never sung in Navratri Mandapam. Same with Chembai had never sung in Navratri Mandapam. Madurai had never sung in Navratri Mandapam. So they had passed away. There's nothing I could do. But at least this man, once I wanted him to sing. So I said, no, we have this festival in Navaya. I know everything about that. They called everybody else. No, only me, they never called. But it's all right. I did not care. So I said, that's okay, but I can't answer for what happened in 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now it's 90s, and I have something to do with that festival, and I'd like to change the situation. Then he banged on he had sitting in a easy chair with a hand rest. So he banged on that, and he said, I sing only for money. He said, so I said, okay. And at that time, 1994, 95, my rate is 1 lakh. Oh, wow. So I was stunned because now people can't even, except older people can't even imagine 1994 what value 1 lakh was. Maybe to put it in some perspective, I used to spend 100 rupees and get 12 liters of petrol. So now 1 liter of petrol you can't get for 100 rupees. So that is the inflation rate. So at that time, 1 lakh, I was like, I had no way of giving him that, but at least I know these are his conditions and whatever. Then I said, second thing is that I'd like to learn from you. Learn from me, why? All your people are there, no? So I said, yeah, all my people are there, but I want to learn your composition. My composition? What composition? I said, Simha Rupa Deva. There's one Kamboji song on Narasimha. Very, very nice. So then he was like little surprised that I said that song because he did not sing that very often. So then I said, I don't want to waste your time. So I'll sing just 2 lines. If you like what you hear and choose to take me, that'll be nice. But otherwise, I won't disturb you again. When you have program, you can tell me. I said, no, program means you have to come there, and program is boring means one whole evening will go. This we'll finish it up now, right now. Normally, people ask me to sing also. I feel very shy. I don't sing. But this is like, I really wanted. So I sang his Behag Tilana. So then he was really, sorry, he never expected that, especially that Tilana. So when I reached Anupallavi, one telephone call came. So in his house, telephone call would come every 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So he answered the phone and everything. So then, so I said, no, it's okay. No, you complete the song. So then I realized, oh, okay. So he wants to hear the rest of it, not like, okay, now that I stopped, let's just leave. So I completed the full song. Then he just jumped from his chair and came and gave me a hug. Then he said, you're singing very nicely. How you learned it? I said, I'll learn from recording. If there's any mistake, please forgive me. No mistake. Who's your guru? So I felt so proud that hearing me sing with so much antipathy towards my family because we had never called him. I sang and immediately he came and gave me a hug and asked, who's your guru? So I was like, he was a Subramanian, he was a Samagadi student, and whatever, he just passed away in November. So he said, you have his blessings. We are very, very lucky. So like that, he was very loyal to his guru also, Balamurali sir. So he appreciated people who really liked their guru and not to just politically associating with somebody, call them their guru or whatever. So like that, but I didn't do namaskaram. I didn't give him dakshina. Just like that, I learned one Tillana and two Tillana. Then he brought out his book called Surya Kanti, which is out of print now, which had all his Tillanas, all his Varnams, and around 100 other compositions. So, and he gifted me that, I thought, but no, he sold me the book. So he said, this is 500 rupees. So I said, oh, okay. So then I paid and bought that, but it is at that time 500 rupees. Later, the second edition became much more expensive and whatever. So then he said, you look now. So in his presence, I browsed through the pages. So it had lyrics in Telugu in his handwriting, and it had lyrics and notation in Sanskritam, in English, and Tamil. So 3 languages, lyrics and notation, and Telugu only lyrics. And with the awards he got, I suppose it's a song on Krishna, there's a Tanjore painting of Krishna, like that. So then I look at the whole thing, and then he says, have you ever seen during a composer's lifetime book like this, 4 languages, beautiful pictures? So it is not a book, it is a monument. Oh, okay. So I was stunned because I've seen so many people who are so arrogant. They'll say, oh, it's all God's blessing. I don't know anything. This fake modesty. But here was a man who is really, he's amazing and he has no illusions about his ability. So he said, it's not a book, it's a monument. I said, okay. Then I would just look at these page by page composition and I've not heard this, I've not heard this. So I would say, sir, what is this song in Mekharanjani? Hey, you can learn like that. So I have not even heard Mekharanjani at that time. So Zarigama, Ni, Sa, Ni, Maga. So only 2 notes missing, but Ma to Ni, big gap is it. So then he'll Akhila Deva Nutapade Paradevate Palaya Shumam Parameshwari. Like it, just like he would sing like I am singing now, no cutting, no slowing down, nothing. He'll just sing the song. I repeat. If I get it, I get it. If I don't get it also, he'll go to the next line. That's the whole process will take around 3 to 7 minutes. He'll sing once, I sing once. Then I had a Walkman with me, so I'll record him singing that. Then I used to ask for the meaning. So that thrilled him. He said, from the time he was, I think, 8, 9 years old, his guru used to delegate him to teach the Sarigama students, Kuti boys. So he says, from that time I've been teaching music. This is the first time that somebody has asked me for the meaning, he says, because nobody had ever asked. He would sing something, they would repeat and learn and go, what we are singing, we don't know. So first time that somebody asked, so Annamacharya and all that, some Telugu words which are archaic Telugu, like in Tamil, they have Sen Tamil, the original old Tamil. So like that, this pure Telugu, some words which he had doubt, he would look at Telugu dictionary and I said, no, I don't want to disturb you. No, because of this, I am also learning, Like that, he used to be thrilled. So that was very, very early in our connection. One of the thrilling moments was when he said, you're the first person who's asked for lyrics and the meaning of the lyrics. So then it went on and on and on. 18 years, I didn't do anything else. I didn't get married. I didn't get a job. I didn't learn Pancharatnams. I didn't learn Matapi. Matapi I had already learned, but Shira Sagarasena or Samajavaragamana or Pakala Nilabadi, or all of that I can learn even now. So I just concentrated on the Mangalam Pillai Balamuralikrishna legacy, his compositions and his tuning of this bunch of other people, Jayadeva and Bhadrasal Ramadas, Sadasiva Brahmendra, Kaivara Amaranarayana. I had not even heard about that gentleman. And Mallekonda Ramadasa, Yadla Ramadasa, Prayaga Rangadasa, like that whole, then from Karnataka, Purandarasa. And there's a Vachana by, in fact, I have a concert on Sunday, this coming Sunday, where it's in a Kannada stronghold location. So I hope to bring out a few, not only Purandarasa, but some other Timmappa Dasaru and Muppina Shadakshari. They're from 1500. So see how old the composers are. So like that, he's touched മലയാളത്തിൽ കൈവയ്ക്കുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹം കൈവയ്ക്കാത്ത ഒന്നുമില്ല. Like that, so many such a wide range of composers' lyrics he has tuned, which he himself didn't remember so many. Because for All India Radio, there'll be a project for one cassette recording of a CD recording. He'll tune the lyrics and do that recording and then forget it. So he would have sung it only once. So that one recording I happened to get, or I happened to catch him in a good mood when he would go through his old books. And see, February 1954. That he has written the date when he has tuned it. You will like it. It's very nice. So then he would also get thrilled. And then next time he had a radio program or somewhere, he would sing the song suddenly. Then his 80-year-old people will go, oh my God, I've not heard the song for 60 years. Like that. So many of these, that's why with Balamurali sir, he would sing by the end, most concerts, he would sing Endaro Mahanubhavulu, then Devadi Deva, Sonada Vinodini, Nagumomu main. And after Nagumomu, Pibere Ramarasam. Then Urunal Poduma and Tilana like this. So till today, maybe tomorrow I may, till today I have not sung Nagumomu or Deva Deva, the main or sub. So I said, every time you are singing that, so I'll leave it to you. I will sing something else, your product, but which you have forgotten. So, and I had the pleasure of bringing out those pieces and singing in front of him, teaching my students and taking video and even live presenting my students in front of him. And he would become younger. And because if I sing, Ishwarajnayemo teliyadu adi evarerugaru Ishwarajnayemo teliyadu. What is God's will? I don't know. Adi evarerugaru. That nobody can tell. So he tuned in 1952, 53. So when I sing this, he is taken back to that time in Vijayawada All India Radio, Bhakti Ranjani, and that whole epoch where so many people who worked with him at that time, they are no longer alive. So they're all brought back to life, who gave orchestration and, so he used to feel very, very, very good. It was never a trouble or hassle for him to go back, but it was very hard to get him in that frame of mind when he would actually take out that book and go through the songs. Once he opened that book, then some guest will come or some interview, something will come. And there's so many interruptions. So I'll just be there, wait. In 7 days of waiting, I might get 3 songs like that. But even one song like that is worth waiting for 3 years also. So once I got that, it was a very happy feeling. But then I started feeling it's a burden also. I know the song, but tomorrow I die means it'll die with me. So I wanted to share. So I started teaching. From 1995, I started teaching. Till 2016, I taught completely free of cost. I never charged anything. But after pandemic and all that, we are getting old also. So some source of income I need. So now I'm obliged to charge quite a pittance only, still something. So people who have learned from me free of cost, now they don't want to come because they want only free. So you give like one rock or one piece of shit wrapped in a paper free. Yeah, then they'll take. That is what just that magic word.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the shine in your eye when you're talking about Dr. Balamuralikrishna. And I think you were really smart in a way that you first invited him for the concert and then
But concert happened later. It took 2 years, but my discipleship happened then and there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then and there. But only singing his Bihag Tilana opened the door for
me. That's fascinating. I think what makes Dr. Balamuralikrishna a legend is, I mean, he was a great musician, of course, but then his contributions to the field of music, his coming up with new ragas, new compositions, and sounds like the book, which is unfortunately out of print. I mean, the way you describe it, it sounds like an amazing repository of his kritis, and we should probably do something to bring it back to life.
In fact, I wanted to. Oh yeah.
Oh, Surya Kanti. Yeah, I see it.
So this is, as I said, the pages. You can see the pictures are there.
Yeah.
I'll show you at least one picture. So, see, like these pictures are there, and beautiful. In all these languages.
Yeah.
And he is Tyagaraja Shishya Parampara, so he has Tyagaraja on the back.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. We need to do something to bring this back because it sounds like a lot of amazing compositions. You mentioned about you asking your guru the meaning of a word and things like that. And I think it's extremely important, for a Carnatic musicians to inculcate that sense of meaning and what you're singing and so on. uh, I know you talk a lot about some of the pet peeves that you have in music, like people not wanting to sing at the end of a word and so on. But what do you think are your top pet peeves, and how can a student of Carnatic music overcome it? Is learning all the languages the key? What are your thoughts on that?
Learning languages is very, very good, but equally important, since the topic of all the songs is our religious material. It is essential that we have a very good grasp of the Puranas also. So I was very fortunate to have Chitra Tirunal Maharaja and Amma Maharani. As we were children, they would tell us stories from Sri Krishna's life and Sri Rama's life, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata. All that the grandmothers used to, more for me, great grandmother and Chitra Tirunal were the people who actually used to tell. My aunt also, my mother's sister, Gauri Lakshmi Bai. So they would tell all these stories. So some grasp was there. Then C. Rajagopalachari's Ramayana, Mahabharata, when I was in school, I read. But later I discovered one amazing Malayali gentleman called Ramesh Menon, who has brought out, it's published by Rupa, he's brought out Shiva Puranam, Devi Puranam, Sri Krishna's story, Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, and Bhagavatam. So the 6 books, uncensored. So much of old religious texts have a lot of adult content also, which C. Rajagopalachari's Ramayana will not have that. It's child friendly. So this is nothing held back. So whatever, you'll be shocked at what all is there. So that is, then when I like, Sri Krishna's uncle was Kamsa. Kamsa's wife, Mrs. Kamsa, was called Pavana Rekha. I mean, you not even heard a beautiful name actually. So much detail. And he says he has never added one masala, nothing. He's just translated from Sanskritam, uncensored. That's all. He's not added anything. So the problem is that Muthuswami Dikshitar, or especially Dikshitar, he'll have one word. Even if we know that, or if I say something very, very obvious, it's a song on Krishna. We say Giridhari. So we understand Sanskrit. I know Sanskrit. Okay, Giri means Parvata, a mountain. The Dhari means somebody who is wearing. What is? How can we'll imagine a person with a mountain? So unless we know the story, when Sri Krishna's villagers, they used to do puja to Indra, and Krishna said, hey, why do puja to Indra? He has no use for us. Let us do puja to our mountain. Okay? So they did to Govardhana Giri, and Indra got angry and he decided to flood the village. He came with thunder and lightning and thunderstorm, and Sri Krishna lifted this mountain with one finger and held it like an umbrella and protected the whole village, and everyone saw who he was and what he was. That whole story is there in the Giridhari, one word, Giridhar. No? So we need to know not only the language, but we need to know the references also. Otherwise, we won't feel anything. No, we are just singing some sahitya. When we are not feeling anything, how can we expect the listeners to connect at all? So I'm very, very happy that so many of my listeners, my followers, they are people who are not attracted to Carnatic music otherwise. So I used to, but they get moved to tears listening to Mohammad Rafi and Kishore Kumar. So it's not like they are not unmusical. They are very, very musical, very sensitive. So many of them sing really beautifully also. But Carnatic music, we don't write. They are like, such a sensitive musical person. They have to be moved to tears with Saveri also. No? So I used to wonder why. Then I discovered that these were the factors. So I made, during pandemic, I made a series of around 20 videos. It's there on YouTube. Small 2-minute, 3-minute videos where I give a series of useful tips for music students. So actually, it's not only for music students, for anybody who's serious about music, whether you're a performer, or teacher, or student, or listener. If you take these points, one is, as you said, closing the mouth. See, because Sarvam Brahmamaya, Sarva Brahmamaya. So people say, like a mouth which sounds like it is full of tobacco. That sound, chewing tobacco, that sound. While Balamuralikrishna sir actually used to chew tobacco, but sang very clearly. It is so.
Yeah, it's amazing how he sang till probably till the late 80s, and I could not notice one drop in his quality. And I think you can't say that about very many musicians. And I think that sort of tells what he was.
He used to say his Shruti was C. So C in our Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, it's called Urukatte. Urukatte is C. So I have seen him at least 5 times when in his 70s and 80s, some new musician is going to play with him. So they feel he used to sing in C at that time. Now he's 85 or what. So he says, Shruti enna? So he says, Annekku onnu, innekku onnu. So he is not talking about Shruti. I am number one then, and I am number one even now. So,
I've seen this with Shah Rukh Khan in his interviews, that he is numero uno when it comes to superstars in Bollywood, and he has no qualms accepting it. I feel like Dr. Balamuralikrishna is also of the same genes, and rightly so. Why not, right? He lived the life to its fullest. One other thing that I note about Balamuralikrishna's Shishyas is, I mean, you take music director Sharath or yourself, it is very evident that he has left behind his legacy, because the styles are so similar to his. I know it unknowingly comes, but a lot of the times when I listen to his disciples sing, I feel like he is singing, and that goes to say a lot about him as a guru. Yeah. So Varmaji, I would like to end this podcast by getting to know what you do. I know you teach music quite a bit, and you have a YouTube channel called Music Box, and I really recommend listeners check that out. But what are your future plans? Do you plan to work on any literary works, or continue with music?
The problem is, well, firstly, the pandemic was completely unexpected, and it threw many of us completely off balance. And so, in one way, after pandemic, I stopped planning, because we don't even know whether tomorrow will. I mean, it's applicable any day, whether we will be there tomorrow.
True, but I think that made us more conscious about that. Hey, this can happen,
Exactly. It's so many things were completely. I mean, we would never dream of something like that which happened during pandemic, lockdown, and whatever. So, but I like laughter a lot. I mean, my first love is food, actually. Second love is laughter. I love laughing myself. I love to make people laugh, and comedy is something which is very close to my heart. Number 3 is music, actually. So I feel like writing, I write small things and share with my friends, but most of it in the current politically correct or whatever atmosphere, where any small thing we say, somebody will file a case or they want to kill you or whatever.
So cancel culture.
Cancel culture, exactly. So even Dr. Seuss, Roald Dahl, they are going to rewrite their books and not publish them and whatever. So children, cherished children's books which I grew up on. So now say that he has described this person as fat, or fat is body shaming. So you can't.
On that point, I think sometimes we have to give them that consideration of the times that they lived in.
Also,
right?
Exactly.
The world was very different then, and who knows? Some of the people who are canceling these guys, if they were born in that generation, who knows how their attitude would have been.
Exactly.
Now we are living in the comforts of our home in such a privileged society. Life has not been any better, and we sometimes call them out. So I think it's a bit unfair.
So for me, my writing is, it's like I can write, but I cannot publish. That is a situation. But I love that. And I find I have only like 1 cup of creativity per day. So if I practice music for 4 hours, then that's finished. Then I don't have anything left for anything. So when I have a cold and cough and sore throat and I can't talk, I can't sing, at that time, if I send an SMS also, it will be very sparkling and funny, because that creativity is coming in one text message, because it's not going out, getting released the other way. So music takes up most of my time, and if somebody sings really well, I never envy them. I'm like, wow, how nicely he sings or she sings. But some jokes when I hear, I feel like, oh my God, why can't I think of a joke like that? It's that originality. Just some thoughts are so stunning. So, but other than that, I keep learning. See, now for Sunday concert, I've prepared at least 3 songs which I've never sung before. It's a Balamurali evening. Balamurali sir dedicated. It comes online also. But people would say, oh, Balamurali means I'll sing Lavangi or something. Lavangi I've sung many times. So some other thing. Of course, for a concert to be impressive, Onka, Amma Anandadani, Sive, 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 or Lavangi, or Kadanagotu Labdilana, Kuntalavaralitira, these hit every time. Like Shamangudi used to sing Deva Deva Kalyami every concert, means it's a killer piece. It ensures success. Cambodia Tatala, Viriboni. That's why they became popular. So rather than just have a brilliant concert singing the same things I've done 100 times, I want to bring out a few. It's not me. It's like him. See Balamurali, what he has done with Purandadasa, with Annamacharya, with Bhadrachalam, with his own composition. So and some misconceptions also. Because he's composed, created ragas with 3 notes and 4 notes and sang Vivadi ragas and rare ragas. Some people feel, oh, he can't sing Shankarabharan or Kalyani or Saveri. No, he is Saveri means you have to. It's there on YouTube. Todi, Saveri, and all that will be just unbelievable. So to show that in this idiom also he has done, like Picasso's paintings, they say he was the greatest master of realistic painting at that time. Then he got tired of doing the same thing. Then he branched off to Impressionism and what. Not because he could not draw a realistic, normal, classical painting. So similarly, Balamurali sir, people who delve deep, they know about his authenticity, and he's literally the best representative of Tyagaraja Shishya Parampara, taking it to the next step while remaining firmly rooted in those 200 years of tradition of Tyagaraja. So, yeah. So just continue. Nothing new.
Yeah. I think you were mentioning about Picasso, right? A lot of the people who go to art galleries and look at modern art, they're like, why is this so significant? I mean, fun fact is that if they want to, they can actually do the proper painting. It's just they are taking, like you said, they are taking it a level up and expressing themselves. But if they really pull up their socks and paint, you will know what they're made of. So it's a very, very important point, and I'm super glad that you are also reinventing yourself. I think that's really important, and all the very best to whatever you choose to do next.
Thank you so much.
But Prince, it was such a pleasure and honor talking to you. I did not expect this would materialize, but you're probably one of the most down-to-earth people I've met. So thank you so much for doing great things and for inspiring.
Thank you. And thank you so much for digging me up from the internet. I mean, I was surprised when I suddenly got a mail from you. As you know, and I know, we don't know each other at all. So suddenly somebody sends me a mail and say, I want to do a podcast with you. So like, oh, okay. It was nice. And it turned out to be a very, very nice conversation. I'm very happy.
Thank you so much.
Where are you in the US?
I am based out of the Bay Area.
Bay Area. Oh.
Yeah.